Well, hey fans, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Spoilers, and today we're talking spoilers for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, I have been a major fan of Guardians of the Galaxy since Marvel started releasing the films. I really didn't actually know about them beforehand in terms of comic books, but I thought it was great that Marvel was trying to do something new and reinvigorate their films by taking an obscure property from the comics and making it a big thing. And it worked out. The first Guardians of the Galaxy film was very enjoyable. The second one I did find enjoyable, but it was way too much comedy. I think they gave James Gunn a little bit too much free reign. But I am still glad he's back for the third, and I think he is the best director for this franchise. Hopefully he reins it in. And after watching the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, I am more hyped for the third Guardians film because this holiday special was great. I believe I give it a good 4.5 out of 5 over on the website, flipfrogllc.com. Make sure you head over there and check out my review. And what I like about this holiday special is that it moves the characters forward and it doesn't just leave them stagnant. There are revelations brought about in the special that I think are really interesting. And just to get the cat out of the bag, this is a spoiler talk. Mantis is Peter Quill's half-sister. So when we meet Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Mantis is with him. She talks about how Ego raised her from a larva, which we find a little odd because she also states, well, I don't know if she states this, but they find out he basically kills all of his other children. He makes copies of himself, goes to these planets, impregnates all these women of different species. Hopefully they'll have a kid. When they have the kid, he sends Ravagers to go kidnap his kids and bring them back to him. He tries to see if they have his powers as a Celestial. When they don't, he kills them. And I just thought it's like a really sad... Like, that movie could have been so much better if they had just hammered in on that point. Like I said, it was a little too funny. But yeah, so Mantis is apparently another one of his kids. Now, he didn't kill her. It doesn't... We're not shown her having celestial abilities like Peter Quill had, but she is extremely strong. Like, she was strong enough to put him to sleep, and he's a celestial being. That means she is really strong. And we see her do a lot more stuff in the special as well. But he kept her alive, and now she only revealed to Drax that Peter is her brother. So the special starts off in like an animated form. You have Kraglin talking about how Peter, who's from Earth, taught him about Christmas, and how Yondu, once again played by Michael Rooker, didn't like it. He destroyed the tree, and telling everybody the story. And they decide, hey, we're going to bring the Christmas spirit to nowhere. Now, here's another big revelation. They mention in this special, the Guardians, that they bought Nowhere from the Collector. All right? They bought Nowhere from the Collector. It's a little roughed up. They have to fix it up. That means the Collector did not die in Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame. He left. Now, Thanos, when he's on Nowhere and he reveals it is like in flames, he mentions that, Tavon isn't an idiot. He knew what I was here for and he basically gave it to me. So, yeah, now we have proof of that. Thanos came for the Reality Stone. Tavon is like, all right, yeah, here, take this. And dipped out. Now, that doesn't mean the Collector could not have a good fight with Thanos. As we saw in What If, when Thanos decided to become a good guy, the Collector filled that power vacuum. He is apparently also a great combatant, and he is a higher form of being. So, that is the first big news. Well, that we actually get in time is that the Collector is alive and that they bought Nowhere from him. The second big news is that Peter Quill is Mantis' half-brother. She tells Drax, she's like, look, I want to tell him, I don't know how. There's this whole joke about Zarg nuts, and that is where Gunn shines. See, that is not overdone. The Zarg nuts thing is super funny, but he doesn't keep it going. He just has in that one moment. So they decide to get Peter Quill the best Christmas present ever in the form of Kevin Bacon, the legendary hero who saves an entire town by dancing. Nice callback to the first film. They head to Earth, and there are funny scenes there. People make these jokes and these memes online about human beings on Earth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just looking up at the sky and like all these weird things happening all the time, and that's just their life now. So there's like an in special joke about that, where Mantis and Drax are flying over LA, and the humans are just looking up like, oh, here goes another spaceship. What's going on now? And Mantis asks Drax if he has the cloaking device on, which he says, I did. And she says, yeah, I know you're lying. So when they're going looking for Kevin Bacon, they stop on the Hollywood Strip where you have all the cosplayers who are cosplaying the Avengers. And Mantis sees a guy dressed as Captain America and runs up to him and says, Steve. So at some point she, I guess, met and got to know Steve, which is interesting because Mantis got snapped. Steve didn't. So there's 5 years where they didn't meet. So after the events of Avengers Endgame and they had that big battle, I really feel like everybody got to talking and got to know each other before people who were not from Earth left Earth or whatever. So she knows Steve Rogers. Or maybe she still knows Steve Rogers and he's out in space somewhere. And that is how she knows him. We'll see if that pays off a little bit later, but I did think that was very interesting. Of course, people think they're cosplayers and they make money, and eventually they go to a club, have a nice time, party, and find their way to Kevin Bacon's mansion. And this is where things get really awesome. We've never really seen Mantis fight in the MCU. We've always seen her use her powers to put people to sleep. But in this special, Pom Klementieff, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name really, but she is amazing. She is the star of this. I don't know who's all going to make it out of Guardians 3, but she definitely needs to, and she needs to be pushed to the forward as like a leader of this group. Now, I think Rocket and Drax are pretty much going to die, but yeah, we need to see her as a leader of this group. But yeah, she is like kicking ass, fighting, incapacitating people. She still put them to sleep afterwards, but after beating them up. So that was really fun to see. We get to find out that Drax is bulletproof. Other than that, nothing really changes about Drax. And I really liked his character in the first Guardians, and I hope we get a little more of him emotionally in Guardians 3. There's a little small piece of it in Guardians 2 where Mantis and Drax are talking, and Drax kind of talking plainly, but when she uses her powers on him, she feels how sad he is on the inside. That was a great scene from a just okay movie. But they get Kevin Bacon, they take him back to nowhere. They find out on the way that he's actually an actor and not a hero. And, you know, Peter Quill's like, what have you guys done? Like, this is kidnapping and all this stuff. You know, they have like this fun ending. They're going to take Kevin Bacon home, but he decides to stick around for a little bit, you know, cheer up the Christmas vibe. And so the funny thing is Kevin Bacon, and I love how they answer this. Kevin Bacon can get a cell phone call deep in outer space. Deep in outer space. I'm like, how is that possible? Like, in She-Hulk earlier this year, the Hulk got a phone call when he was in a spaceship, and he was like, yeah, I got something to handle, and then he dips. Now, when he's on Sakaar, wherever he ended up going, he doesn't get a phone call there. But I'm like, how do you get a phone call in space? And then Kraglin explains, like, or was it Peter Quill? Somebody explains that, yeah, a couple of these satellites, you can get, you know, millions of miles worth of signal, so that's why. And it's like, oh, I like how they threw that little explainer in there to just tell you how that's possible. So, you know, these little people online who like to break down every little bit of detail and say, well, it sucks because of this, they can't do that anymore. And overall, it basically ends after that. And we can move into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, knowing that they celebrated a great Christmas. And these Marvel special presentations are the best thing Marvel has done in terms of a television experience. And I'm not saying I don't like the shows, but I think going into phase 5 and 6, they need to figure out exactly what should be a show and what shouldn't. What should be a special presentation and what shouldn't. Like, for instance, in my opinion, Werewolf by Night was a great special presentation. The Holiday Special was a great special presentation. I think Moon Knight should have been a movie. Black Widow should have been a show. Eternals should have been a show. She-Hulk was great as a show. I'm not going to say the show was great. It was a good idea for a show. That whole thing where she breaks into Marvel Studios, that should have been a special presentation. So they should have had She-Hulk, the show, that ends, and then a special presentation of She-Hulk where she breaks into Marvel Studios, and that would have been fun to see. Going into my rankings of MCU Phase 4 TV, I think number 1 is going to be Loki. That was an excellent season. I like how it moved the universe forward. I like the characters. I like the episode count. I can't wait to see season 2. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Number 3, Werewolf by Night. Number 4, Hawkeye. Number 5, WandaVision. Number 6, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Number 7, What If Season 1. I'm interested to see what they do with Season 2. Hopefully they're not hindered by, all the secrecy and we can get some truly great stories moving forward and that it ties into the movies and the live action shows a little bit more. Number 8, Moon Knight. Was very disappointed by the ending. Number 9, She-Hulk. Again, disappointed by the ending. Love Daredevil. Love Daredevil, the best part of the show, which is sad that Daredevil is the best part of somebody else's show. And 10, Miss Marvel. I really like Kamala Khan. I really like the characters in that. I just think it had like a villain problem. It was kind of like a do-nothing show. Maybe it needed a few more episodes. I don't remember exactly what I put in my review, but yeah, it definitely had a villain problem. Definitely had a budget problem. It's not any of those people's faults. I do want to see a season 2. I just want to see how they're going to move this character forward. So yeah, that is my ranking for MCU Phase 4 television, and I can't wait to see where they go with Phase 5 television. I mean, like I said, we know we're getting a Loki Season 2 and a What If Season 2. None of these other series have been greenlit for a Season 2, like WandaVision. We don't know where that's going. Falcon and Winter Soldier is getting upgraded to a movie, Captain America New World Order. Hawkeye, I would love a season 2 with his wife as a main character. Moon Knight, I would like a season 2 just to get a little bit more explanation about that universe. And I would like some new shows. We know we're getting new shows like Ironheart. They're already filming that. I think filming's actually done. We're going to get Wonder Man starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. There's going to be Vision Quest that we're finally going to find out what happened to White Vision. That's more like the sequel to WandaVision. And that may lead into Armor Wars, which was a show and is now in movies. So I like that they're looking at the stuff that they have and they are making those changes. You have Spider-Man freshman year and Spider-Man sophomore year. I'm not sure if those are going to be connected to the MCU. I think there'll be more like a spin-off of What If. They take place in a separate timeline because you got Green Goblin and Daredevil actually meeting Peter Parker in high school. Of course, you got Secret Invasion that is coming out next spring, and that's one I think should have been a movie. It should have been Avengers Secret Invasion, and that would have been a nice thing to do after Ant-Man and the Wasp. You got Echo, Agatha Covenant Chaos, and Daredevil Born Again. But yes, it'd be nice to see what other new shows that aren't on that list that we will see. And we'll see. I would love to see another Guardians of the Galaxy special because in the stinger for this one, Rocket teases that there is going to be another Guardian special. Now, with James Gunn taking over DC, he will not be the director or writer for it. He's exclusive to DC now. I think technically he can still be an executive producer because he cast and helped create these characters, but that is the most input he can give to it. So I would love for Marvel to do more holiday themed content. Not just limited to Christmas. You got Halloween, you got the Day of the Dead, you got Valentine's Day. So many other options, and we'll just see where they go moving forward. I almost forgot. Let me interject. That song, Christmas Time Is Here, instant banger. It is an instant classic. It was so fun to listen to. I really enjoyed it. It really does put you in the Christmas spirit. So just an interjection of that note. But that will do it for me, guys. You can watch this video and read the full review over on the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, everybody, hey, please, come here. Come do this one thing for me. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Yes, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, the website, anything and everything. Flixfrog, Flipfrog Books. Hit that thumbs up button, like, and follow. I got a lot of good stuff coming for you guys. Trust me, I just need you to up my followers. That's really what I'm asking here. Just up my followers up from what it is. My next Let's Talk Spoilers is probably going to be Avatar The Way of Water. You know, we've waited, 12 years for this movie, and it turned out pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I want to go see it again before I do my spoiler talk. I saw it in normal 2D, and I want to see it in IMAX 3D, just to get a feel for how great it's actually supposed to be. So we'll see about that. And until next time, which is next year, I'll be seeing you.